yes, the Royal Rumble. To many wrestling fans, it's an annual tradition and maybe the biggest match they look forward to every single year.
Becky Lynch! 1 foot, 1 foot! Drew McIntyre's going to WrestleMania!
For 35 years, we've been spoiled with some of the wildest moments in the ring, some of the funniest moments in interactions.
Oh my God, what the heck? What did Titus just... I can't believe what I just saw!
And also some of the more serious ones as we get past 30 other people in one match trying to etch their name into history. We also get these things we simply just can't forget.
It's been 9 long years!
There's something about the Rumble that's so different from everything else we see in wrestling, and there's something so wrestling about it at the same time. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Let us know what is your favorite Royal Rumble match or moment in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. It could be the fact that superstars have to be thrown over the top rope, or maybe the excitement of the crowd anticipating another surprise entrant, or you can see all of the storylines active in WWE weave together into one single match at one time with the last man or woman standing. Or it could just be the combination of everything happening like that. In the last 3 decades plus, the Rumble match has featured a combination of the most thrilling, heartbreaking, hilarious, and downright crazy eliminations. Seeing as how there have been 36 editions of the Rumble up to 2023, we present to you the mix of some of the craziest and funniest eliminations in Royal Rumble history. This is all in chronological order and isn't ranked in any way, so join us. The first Rumble went down in 1988, airing as a TV special from Canada, with fan favorite hacksaw Jim Duggan in the final moments breaking new ground as the first Rumble winner by outsmarting the one-man gang who outsized him. During one-man gang's big final charge, Duggan pulled the top rope, one-man gang launched himself out of the match, with Duggan launching himself into history. We go all the way back to the second edition of the Royal Rumble in 1989. This was before the winner of the Rumble match earned a title shot at WrestleMania, and the entire presentation was still a relatively novel concept for mainstream pro wrestling television. Andre the Giant should have been the one of the favorites to win the over-the-top elimination match, something he had done in similar Battle Royal matches throughout his career. But Jake the Snake Roberts outwitted him in a big way. Bringing his infamous pet snake Damien to the ring, he unleashed it into the ring. Andre the Giant, a man who doesn't fear much, was terrified of snakes. But his fear of snakes led to him hilariously eliminating himself. The 1990 Royal Rumble saw the yellow polka-dotted working man hero, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, storm into the thick of the multi-man mayhem, but he had one target, the royal pain in his ass at the time in the form of Macho King Randy Savage, delivering a quick blow of 2 bionic elbows before using his thick frame to back body drop Savage out of the match. The big man to beat in the 1991 Royal Rumble was the 6'7" Earthquake. He scored a total of 4 eliminations that night, but the most memorable one had to be his elimination of Bushwhacker Luke. Luke marched into the ring, throwing his arms up and down in the air, having a good old time before Earthquake quickly, slowly, and casually guided him to the other side of the ring and sent him out of the match. Earthquake didn't need a seismic effort to get Bushwhacker Luke out of the ring. He just casually marched him away from it, basically. It's still in WWE's Royal Rumble highlight reel 3 decades later. The same night, Hulk Hogan became the first man to not only win the Rumble twice, but he was the first to do it in back-to-back years. His final elimination was Earthquake, sending the crowd in Miami, Florida berserk as the Hulkster stood tall again, and yes, he posed. The 1992 Royal Rumble match is still considered by many to be one of the best Royal Rumble matches in WWE history. The lineup of star-studded Hall of Famers is incredible. Hulk Hogan, Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase, the British Bulldog, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Macho Man Randy Savage, Rowdy Piper, The Undertaker, Jake the Snake Roberts, Sid Justice, and many more filled out this big match. Up to that point, the only one man ever that had the Iron Man performance in the Rumble was the Million Dollar Man. 2 years earlier, he lasted 44 minutes, a feat that hadn't been achieved and wasn't considered as common as it is today. He earned a reputation for being a force to be reckoned with in the Royal Rumble, which is why it was a huge shock at the time that the British Bulldog disposed of him in 78 seconds. And this was before the third entrant got into the match, Ric Flair. Speaking of Ric Flair, he would go on to win that Rumble and become the WWE Champion in the process. Yes, the WWE Championship was on the line in the Rumble, a whole 24 years before Roman Reigns would do the same thing in the same match. Sid Justice eliminated Hogan when the Hulkster was busy trying to get the Nature Boy out in the final moments of the match. So Sid didn't even do anything wrong. He simply capitalized on the fact that Hogan was distracted and took him out fair and square, or Flair and square. So what did the beloved #1 good guy in the wrestling world do? He got bitter and tugged on Sid's arm and helped Ric Flair win the whole thing. What a good guy thing to do. Oh, brother. In 1993, it was the first time where the winner of the Rumble match would get that precious World Championship match at WrestleMania. And the final moments of that year's Rumble saw Macho Man Randy Savage and the late great Yokozuna, who was actually tearing up the entire roster by himself at the time. And he certainly did it in the Rumble. And for some odd reason, Macho Man R-truthed it and went for a pinfall in a freaking Rumble match where you're supposed to throw the guy over the top rope, and it's not easy to do that with Yoko. But why did you go for the pin? Yoko only needed to kick out and basically shoulder shove Macho Man, flying him out of the ring. And it gave Yoko his big Rumble win and the main event at Mania. Yes, he continued to march on into what was one of the weirdest and oddest WrestleMania main events, defeating Bret Hart only to lose seconds later to Hulk Hogan, and he lost the world title the same night he won it. Yeah, it was weird. It was WrestleMania 9. So in 1994, it was set to determine who would face Yokozuna in the WrestleMania match, with the final moments of the Royal Rumble seeing Lex Luger and Bret Hart eliminate each other in a crazy double elimination. Although it wouldn't fly today, the controversial double elimination saw Bret Hart and Luger become co-Royal Rumble winners. The 1995 Rumble had some controversy as well. Entry number 1 and entry number 2, Shawn Michaels and British Bulldog, lasted all the way until the final moments. The Bulldog prematurely celebrated when he thought he eliminated Michaels, but that was not the case since both feet had not touched the floor. Yes, that was really a thing they had to enforce, and Shawn Michaels kept his balance, swinging 1 foot above the floor, meaning he was technically not eliminated. He would eliminate the Bulldog during his celebration and claim the first of his 2 Royal Rumble wins. The next year saw a whole flurry of Iron Man performances from Triple H at 44 minutes, Bob Holly at 39 minutes, and Jerry the King Lawler of all people with an impressive 36 minutes. Lawler was the early proponent of the smart but not honorable strategy of hiding underneath the ring and occasionally poking his head out underneath the curtain to see if it was okay to sneak back in there and eliminate somebody. He was eventually caught and eliminated by Shawn Michaels in the end in the hilarious Iron Man not so manly performance. But that wasn't even the craziest moment of that year's Rumble match. The big men, Vader and Yokozuna, colliding in a clash of titans before Shawn Michaels unceremoniously dumped them both out at the same time. Now that was an elimination heard round the world. Yeah, you big men gotta know where you are in that ring at all times. In 1997, Jerry the King Lawler was on commentary bragging about what he would have done if he was in the Rumble match. Entering at number 22, he lasted a whole 4 seconds before Bret Hart took him out. The King went back on commentary to continue talking about what he would have done if he were in the Rumble, only to be reminded that he was in fact just in the match. The 1997 Rumble was also one that saw some of the funniest self-elimination moments of all time. Mexican legend Mil Mascaras made a surprise appearance in the match, and he probably didn't get the memo that you need to stay in the ring and not jump off the top rope to the floor. Yeah, he did that. Even the superstar who wore elbow pads on his shins for some reason, Ahmed Johnson, eliminated himself earlier in that match when he got into an altercation with Farouk, casually exiting the ring from over the top rope. The Attitude Era was out there and pushed the limits of pro wrestling during a very peak period. And someone who did that was Mick Foley. In the 1998 Royal Rumble, he had a very unique performance, portraying all three of his famous characters, opening it with steel chairs clashing against chainsaws as Cactus Jack, getting deranged in the middle of the match as Mankind, and being funky as Dude Love. But it didn't matter, he was eliminated all three times. Nobody would have expected in 1999 that Mr. McMahon, of all people, would win the Rumble. The entire match was about Mr. McMahon and his cronies targeting Stone Cold Steve Austin, and in the final moments of the match, The Rock's assist allowed McMahon to dump Austin out of the ring, an elimination we're still trying to process to this day. The next year, it was The Rock's turn to win the Rumble match. While the match is remembered for the controversy where both the Brahma Bull's feet touched the ground, but somehow he still stayed in the match, another unforgettable moment saw Rikishi dance with Scotty 2 Hotty and Grandmaster Sexay in the middle of the whole thing. That's right, let's stop and have a dance party. Interrupting their usual dance routine, he took advantage of this and dumped both of his friends over the top rope. They were completely cool with each other after the match, though. In 2001, Drew Carey, yes, very famous comedian and TV actor, became the first celebrity to ever occupy a spot in the Royal Rumble match, but he seemingly didn't want to be there, and for obvious comedic relief, he lasted a little less than 3 minutes. It was pretty ridiculous, especially in retrospect when you consider that Drew Carey is the host of the show The Price is Right, that he offered Kane, once he saw him, some money to not beat him up. And once Kane didn't care about the money, Drew Carey eliminated himself. Good call by Drew Carey, because that year Kane would eliminate 11 other superstars in the Rumble, a record that would stand for 13 years. The next year, there was an incredible moment in the Rumble match where we got to see three legends stand in the ring together: Stone Cold, Triple H, and the Hurricane? Hurricane Helms got a little bit too cocky and thought he could double chokeslam the two legends before he was caught and thrown out of the ring. The same match saw arguably what remains as the most shocking elimination in Rumble history. The Undertaker was verbally abusing the Hardy Boys, and he was certainly the ring general and the boss of his yard and WWE, but it proved to be the perfect distraction when the young upstart rookie Maven shocked the world and drop-kicked The Undertaker from behind, eliminating him from the match. It's still one of the most shocking moments in WWE history, the greatest in Maven's short WWE career, but don't worry, it was taken away very quickly, and Taker went on to assault him all the way to the backstage area. In 2003, the Heartbreak Kid once again would make a big splash in the Rumble match as the first entrant, and Chris Jericho was supposed to be second. Christian came out dressed in Jericho's gear, and the real Chris Jericho snuck up from behind him and launched a brutal assault on HBK. This easily allowed him to dispose of the two-time Royal Rumble winner in just 2 minutes. Make sure you subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling. We have another video dropping soon with even more wild Royal Rumble eliminations. Get into the comments below and let us know what you think, or we're gonna throw you over the top rope.